I'm Jen.
And we are SpielMill.
And this is our Shelf
of
Shameful Opportunity.
And so we're here to talk about games that we got to the table for the first time over the last few months. Now, usually it's a little more recent when we do this, but it's been a while, so bear with us. Yeah. Now, we had some potential technical issues with our audio, but we think it'll be okay. But hopefully it is. So I apologize if it's not great. We'll work on fixing that before our next video.
Yes.
If there are any issues. So, but without any further ado, why don't we dive right in?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're starting with the big kahuna, right?
Yeah.
We finally got Frosthaven to the table.
Yes, we did. Now, we didn't play through the whole thing, but we've played through a number of scenarios, and we feel we can talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, Frosthaven is the sequel to Gloomhaven, big dungeon crawling, monstrous sprawling game. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's got incredible table presence. We painted first we 3D printed, then we painted all of the terrain, so it's got this incredible feel to it. And the adventures are so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much. The first part of the game is of every time you sit down is like the dungeon crawling, fight some monsters, get out, you know. And that's very similar to Gloomhaven, with different characters. And then, so that's really fun. And then the second part, there's a new part where you're building up this town. And I feel like that for us is fun, but we're still kind of like, even though we're pretty far in, it still feels like not smooth to us, to me anyway. And I think it's just because it's new to us.
Yeah.
and unlike most games, if you're playing it a bunch of times in a row, you get used to the core mechanisms because it's just part of the game. It's like it's always separated by a certain amount of time.
Yeah. And also, we're playing this one a little different than we played Gloomhaven. With Gloomhaven, we would have these marathon sessions, and we're just not able to do that at this point in our life. So where it's, one-off sessions, and sometimes we actually have to do it in two. And so we'll do the town phase as a standalone.
That's actually pretty standard. We've been doing that pretty standard.
Yeah.
I think for the most part, we play it as a separate game.
Yeah.
And it kind of helps us a little bit. I have chronic illness, so like I get pretty tired by the end of the dungeon crawl episode, and the town phase is shorter, so we make it a little short game of Frosthaven.
Yeah, but I do find it's very satisfying. You get to craft. Actually, you can craft items in this game, which wasn't the case before. You're collecting herbs to make potions.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. And I mean, I love the core mechanism of the dungeon crawler. And so this is all just gravy. But it doesn't take away from it. I think it just adds to it, because when you use something, sometimes you've crafted it, or as you're gathering things.
I like the general process of mixing herbs and discovering what the potion is.
Yeah.
Like, we put these two together and we got a useful potion, or we didn't get a useful potion. And then then we were like, we should remake this, so we need to get more of those herbs. And, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. So. And I do like the characters that we're playing. It took a little while for me, at least, to kind of figure out how to maximize the player powers, but I think that's kind of standard. So it's no surprise. We love it.
Yeah, I mean, it fits right in our zone. We love dungeon crawlers. We love sprawling games with massive table presence. And this has those key components. And
making it a little bit easier for us this time, too, is that we've gotten new board game tables. And so we can set up Frosthaven in the, on the game table, and then put the topper on.
And play other games. Yep.
Not that we don't have another.
Which is what we're doing right now, because we're playing seasonal games right now. And Frosthaven's kind of stowed away until January.
Yes. Which is great. So... Otherwise, I think there's a lot of effort involved in putting it up every time. Yeah, so we haven't put it away. We just left it on the table and then covered it up, and we're playing other games. So I think we have Final Girl on that table right now. Yep.
That's exciting. All right, next on our list is a seasonal game of sorts. We found out that you could get through the U.S. In the U.S., you could get Ticket to Ride Northern Lights. I think Susan at T&Games clued us into this, and so we immediately bought it.
Yeah, because for a long time you couldn't get it in the U.S.
Yeah.
And we, of course, love Scandinavia, and we're really excited to get this to the table.
So, and that's what this is. This is Ticket to Ride in Norway, Finland, Denmark, Copenhagen, Sweden. It also goes down through Latvia and Estonia and stuff like that. And I think maybe it touches the Netherlands. I can't remember, but you know, it covers that sort of northern region. And it's got a few twists. One of them is that you, instead of, you know, in the original Ticket to Ride, you get like a couple gold cards, most tickets for this route. In this game, you have a deck of gold cards. You shuffle them and you pick 4. And they're like different things. Some of them are longest route and so, most tickets, or like most completed tickets in the Arctic Circle, or most countries visited, stuff like that. And that's really kind of fun to change it up.
Yeah.
A couple of them, this is maybe one of my negatives, was that a couple of the tickets were like, you had no control over it really. Like it was like, how many tickets you get to Copenhagen? And the whole game I draw 1 ticket to Copenhagen. You know, it's like,
I drew a lot, so work for me.
So if it works, it works. But it's like, you don't really have control over it because you can only draw so many tickets. And if you don't happen to draw any that go to that city, you're just out of luck. So.
Yeah. I really loved this, and I really liked the gold cards on it because it gave you a little bit of a different approach to how you're picking tickets. Normally, you know, you go through and you pick tickets. Maybe you're looking for ones that overlap each other, or in the same vicinity, and that's what drives your game. Here, you certainly want to do that, but you're also thinking, well, I want as many that go to the Arctic area as possible. I think that's, just for me, that's a lot of fun. I love having variable gold cards in a game. Yeah,
another neat little mechanism that we haven't seen in another Ticket to Ride is there's a coastal route along Norway, on the west coast of Norway, and there's only so many tickets over there, but there's incentive to build over there because when you complete a connection between cities, you get to draw more cards off the train deck, train card deck. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that's very cool. I've taken advantage of that in at least 1 or 2 of the games, and that really helped me a lot.
Yeah, so that gives you incentive to build over there, even though there might be a limited number of tickets.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's Ticket to Ride, and if you like Ticket to Ride, you probably like this. If you don't, you probably won't. But we really enjoy Ticket to Ride, and we have a number of versions of them. And so for us, especially also because we love the Nordic countries, this was a no-brainer for us, and we loved it.
Right. So it's not, it also supports more players, like Ticket to Ride, northern countries or Nordic countries is only for 2 or 3 players. This supports more players. So
what is it called? I don't even see it.
Nordic countries. So, all right. So that is Ticket to Ride Northern Lights. And then next up on our list, we have, this is kind of, it's called Countdown to Halloween. This is from the Deckbuilding Mystery Society, and it's a print and play game that you can buy from them.
Yeah.
They made it a couple of years ago, and we played it this year for the first time. And it's basically a puzzle game where it's an advent calendar for Halloween, if that makes sense, where every day you do a different puzzle for the whole month of October.
And you're marking off Halloween movies. So it'll give you a clue, and then once you solve that puzzle, it's going to give you a clue, and you have to figure out which movie it is. Which for us, because we haven't seen a lot of the horror movies, we did have to Google and try to figure out what the clues were telling us. But we had a really good time with this. They were pretty simple. They were pretty straightforward. I would say they were maybe a little bit above beginner level, but not too much.
I think they're in that little zone just above beginner level.
Yeah.
I do think in some of them are too simple, and it could have been more depth to it.
Yeah. Now, I will say we were actually also, we took the Christmas card game, Christmas Movie Magic, and we made our own deck for scary movies. And so we were playing that in the season, and it might be fun to pair them, to watch, to do your Halloween movie magic or countdown to Halloween, and then watch that movie and play it. That would actually be a really fun pairing.
Yeah, that would be. So there's not a whole lot more to say about it, but it is, if you're looking for something to do in October to celebrate Halloween, you're a big Halloween fan, then the Countdown to Halloween is a nice print and play game that you could just add, and it takes less than 5 minutes in a day.
Yeah, and if you like scary movies, I think it would be a really great pairing because you could watch them.
You would be familiar with a lot of the
I'm not
movies,
going to watch some of them.
Yeah. I came, I saw. So,
so
right.
Our next game
is another chunky one.
A very chunky monkey, and that is Galactic Cruise.
Yeah.
And we, I guess that was a relatively recent addition to our collection. It came in within the last 6 months, I think, by Kickstarter.
Yeah, I forget exactly when it came in, but yeah.
We really liked this game. Wow.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh my gosh.
It's good.
It's
if you
amazing.
like heavy Euros, with good theme, this is fantastic. It's one of the better ones. It's definitely going to be in my top 100 next time we do
absolutely.
it. I don't know how high, but it'll be pretty high. I mean, this was fantastic.
Yeah.
And the biggest challenge we had after our first game was, so Galactic Cruise, you're building up to, you're building spaceships to send people out into space on little tourist expeditions. And the biggest thing in our first game was we didn't get to launch a lot of ships, but we did. So then we kept twisting.
We wanted more.
We wanted more. So we kept twisting the rules and going to the, but if you just go to you don't have to go super big like we did. We played there was like someone that posted online a mega game version. So we did that. That ended up being like 5 hours for 2 players. And it was kind of glorious.
It was.
But we had to do it in 2 sessions because of my health, and it was a whole thing. So it was fun, but it maybe was a little too much.
Well, not only did we do the mega version, but I think we did the mega version with the overlays for 3 players.
Yeah, we changed it. So you have these overlays that are game timers, and whenever you go on send a ship out into space, you add a cube. And then when it fills up, you go on to the next general meeting or whatever. So we by adding a third player, we added more trips basically.
Yeah.
So it was the whole thing.
It was the whole thing. And this is on BGA. Now, it is not a simple game. You certainly could dive in because on BGA it's gonna direct you what you can do and what you can't do. But it's a lot for, I think, just jumping in like that. You probably want to read the rules.
I have trouble with these complex games on BGA, and I know this one, so I can play it. I think it would be hard for me to figure out. Yeah. But I also have cognitive issues because of my illness. So.
Yeah, this game reminded me a little bit of a Lacerda. It had a lot of the same feelings that. There's a lot of different areas on the board. It's a worker placement. You can bump other workers and that does something positive for them. You have to build up a lot of base resources and build things to be able to even just launch a ship, right? And so it had a lot of that feeling that a Lacerda has to me.
I agree with that. And if you like Lacerda, you're going to love this. But also, I think, I was trying to think of what else is comparable. Definitely a heavier Euro, so maybe a Feld could be comparable too.
Yeah.
Pretty clever mechanisms. And so if you like that Feld, Lacerda, this is right up your alley. You're going to love it.
Yeah. I will say one of the things I really liked about it is the game grows to meet your experience. So when you start, there's a base game you start, everything's in, pre-printed on the game. It's a relatively short game, tells you the order to do things. And then as you go, you can change the order of where everything is. Yeah. So, the 2 actions that go together may no longer be right next to each other. They might be split. And so you can't do them at one time. It takes 2 turns to do them. And there's a little bit more planning. And then when you add the expansions in, it adds another layer of complexity.
But it really lets you soup it up. Like there's a little mini expansion or optional thing where you can, each worker placement space gets a bonus token, and then you're getting bonuses whenever you place a worker. And,
so good.
Oh my god, there's all this stuff going on. So it gets super productive, and it's just awesome.
Yeah,
so,
very. You're building. It's an engine builder in some ways.
lots of dopamine hits.
Oh my God, so much dopamine. Oh, bonus upon bonus upon bonus. So good.
So yeah, definitely can say good things about that. So overall, we love Galactic Cruise. Highly recommend it for those heavy gamers.
Yep, absolutely.
I think if you're a light gamer, it's not for you, most likely.
Yeah.
So
probably not.
All right, next up we have something that thematically you've read the books, I haven't, but you were super excited about because of the books, and I was excited about because of the designer, and that is Mistborn, the deck building game.
Yep.
And this is from John DeClaire, who we love. We love pretty much all of his designs that we've played. I don't know of any that we haven't hit with
Love them
us.
all. Yeah.
Some are more aggressive than others than we prefer, but for the most part, we just love his games. He's very creative in his designs. This is kind of a straightforward deck builder in a way.
It is. It doesn't have any of the card building that a lot of his games have. The cards, they stay the same throughout the game. But it reminded me a little bit more of like an Aeon's End light, not quite Aeon's End level.
But it has a really clever system. So I guess it's in the books where you use metals. You fuse metals or whatever. You burn metals to do different magics and stuff. And so in the game, it has that mechanism where you can burn metals and you can burn extra metals to do more things in a turn. But then you have to recuperate the metals, and that can take more time. So it's really interesting, and it's a nice decision-making space for that.
And each card serves both as a power and as a metal. And so you can choose to use it as a metal or you can use it as the power. So that is one thing that I think John DeClaire really excels at, which is to create different uses for each card. It becomes a resource as well as a special power. And so really trying to maximize your, how you're using things. So
if you like deck building, this is really good. If you like Mistborn the series, this is going to be good. It
was really good, yeah. And you're fighting little battles to as you go. Again, this is why I think it reminds me of Aeon's End, is you're fighting minions, right? And then ultimately there's a big bad you have to defeat, but you can't hit the big bad if the minions are there doing damage, so you got to hit them. So it's really trying to figure out like how you can build up your firepower while you're fending off the little attacks, so then you can go after the big guy, which I love that. I love that in a game. It was so good. And if you like Mistborn, I mean, it's pretty thematic. I mean, how thematic is a board game ever compared to a book, right?
It's not immersively thematic, right?
It's not immersively
thematic in a sort of...
and the characters, you'll recognize the characters, the concept of burning the metals and everything will feel familiar.
Now, I will say it's a competitive game with a cooperative mode, and we mostly played the cooperative mode. And because we're not very player-on-player preferencing, so we really like the cooperative mode, and it worked, I think, pretty well. So you do have that option to play it competitively or cooperatively,
which is also really nice too, because some people prefer the competitive. So, did we ever play the competitive?
I thought maybe
we may have once, but I
think we did once, maybe, or I don't know. I don't remember.
I think
now.
we did. I think we started with the competitive and then
I don't remember now.
Played the cooperative. Yeah, I don't either.
It's been a little bit since we played it, but because we mostly played the cooperative, so we were that was our focus. Yeah. So I guess take it with a grain of salt if you're looking for a competitive game. We mostly played it cooperatively.
Yeah, you might want to check it with somebody who likes the competitive versions and see how it goes.
Yep. All right. So that's Mistborn, the deck building game. Next up, we have a series of puzzle games, which we've done a few of now. And these are from a company in Canada, Scarlet Envelope. And they are, they're fun. They're like Dead Ball Mystery Society. They're little mysteries in a small package.
Yeah. I think they're a little step up from Dead Ball, especially because the mystery goes through several chapters, right? So you start with the first episode and then you finish that. It's a one-off. You can stop there, whatever, but then the next one ties into it and so on.
Story-wise.
Story-wise,
you don't need, you could pick up on the second or third one without doing the first or
Yeah.
second, I think, but there's a continuous story. So
I feel like at the end though you might need them all, but I'm
Maybe.
not sure. We haven't finished yet, so
they do sort of recommend you start at the beginning, and that's probably best, but I think we're on 4 or something, so, but it's good. I actually think these were some of the better puzzle games that we've played.
Yeah, I do too.
Certainly not Post Curious good, who are like our favorites,
Yeah.
but not as complex as Post Curious. But like, they're pretty good. They're very solid.
Yeah. And one of the things that I actually really like about these two is their resource light in terms of what it takes to produce them, what you get in the mail. It's a skinny envelope, but you get a full experience from it. So just if you think about the amount of resources that are going into making this, it is not nearly what is involved in like a big box board game. And when it's a one-off game, there's something to be said for that. Yeah,
it's very efficient, both material-wise and, gameplay-wise.
So highly recommend.
Yep. So that's Scarlet Envelope. Next up, we have a roll and write game that we played that's about walking your dog in the park called Paw by Paw. Now, we're big fans of, God, what's their name now? The publisher. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. But they did a series of Christmas games, Teetotum Studios, I believe. They did a bunch of Christmas games that we played last year that we loved, that were roll and writes. And we're going to talk about another one of their games on here a little bit later, Vacations. But this is our next. So Paw by Paw, you're walking your dog in the park. And so this is a roll and write. And you're rolling dice, and then you're choosing to move your dog. You have to use the dice. One's to move your dog. One is to interact with the smells in the park. And then another one is to do a trick.
I was about to tell you, I didn't play this, but I did, and now I remember it. This was cute. I like this a lot. This had it was fairly challenging for a little roll and write.
Yeah, it was good. It's got the depth for print and play, roll and write. Excellent depth. It also comes with a bunch of different maps with different rules. So when I was just describing, was basically the base map. It was like the food festival map, and it was like, so you roll dice. One die would say how far you moved, and it had to be orthogonally a direction, and then another die would pick what kind of food you're smelling, because there's different food vendors, and then the third die you do a trick. So, and you could, at the beginning of the game, you pick different dogs. And so depending on which dog you did, you played a little mini game with your tricks.
Yeah, it was very cute.
So it was very cute and very, very fun. I mean, I thought it was fun. If you love dogs, it's a good theme. And I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and again, also these roll and writes, they're so accessible, right? They're really inexpensive. They have a fairly low rules overhead, right? They're not super complicated. But the good ones really have a lot of experience packed into that.
Yeah,
so,
and this is a little more complicated than, say, obviously a Yahtzee or something. But it's got a little bit of substance to it. So
yeah, it's a nice either warm-up game or what I like to think of as a weeknight game when maybe, I'm tired from work and we don't have a lot of time or energy. We can just sit down and play this really quickly and just get a little gaming time in together. This is a nice game for that.
Yep. So that is Paw by Paw, print and play, roll and write. So you can get that now from Teetotum Studios. Also from Teetotum Studios, we have Vacations to Greek Islands. This was great too, I thought. This was interesting.
It was challenging.
It was challenging. It had a weird mechanism where you had a planning phase, and you would kind of just stop the game and plan for the next few rounds. And that was a little bit weird, but it worked.
Yeah. I really eons ago, I went to Greece in my semester abroad. And so I really love the theme. And it certainly brought a lot of that flavor to it in the places you're visiting and the types of things you're doing, the food you're eating or the sites you're going to see. But even beyond that, beyond the theme, I just thought it was really challenging. So you're rolling these dice and you're trying to move around the island and do things at each location, and at each location there's like a different little mini game, and it could be that you're trying to fill in, you know, low to high, or you're trying to mark off on a grid and you only count, like, get the points when you fill in a cross. And so that each time you move, you change the little mini game, and you want to get as far around the island as you can, but you can't do it all. So just thinking about, you know, where am I gonna get my most points, kind of making that decision. Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah, one of the big decisions in the game in terms of decision space is deciding, like, okay, I'm trying to fill in this grid. These dice don't really match what I need. Now I can use some of the dice to extend my day a little bit, sort of, or I can move on to the next thing. What's the best decision to make? Mm-hmm. And so you have to optimize as best you can. There is a little mini expansion that you can incorporate, which includes some dice manipulation, which is pretty easy to incorporate. And I do recommend, especially after your first game, maybe bringing that into the play. But it comes with 3 maps, and each map is a different Greek island. And they're based on the real Greek islands. So they're like museums and beaches and like ruins and different stuff that are on those islands. Wineries, and you explore and do those different things in there. So it's kind of cool, especially if you have ties to Greece or you've been to these islands, visited them. Sort of should bring back some of that nostalgic feel. So I think these are excellent. Teetotum really does a really good job on their roll and writes. And they're all print and play roll and writes, so you can get them whenever you want.
Yeah, again, it's super budget friendly. Super budget friendly.
Yep. So we do recommend them. They're very good. And they're a little bit more complex than your typical print and play roll and write, I'd say. But not overly complex. So, all right. Next up, we have a party game.
Yes, Edo.
And this is kind of like Wavelength, but with cards.
Yes. And not... There's got a little bit of element of the mind in it as well, right? So you hand out cards, everybody gets one, and it's got a number on it from 1 to 100, right? And then you get a topic, like
films,
right? Like best film of all time, and then you have to give an answer that indicates where in a scale from 1 to 100, that film would fit. So if you got 50, you'd have to figure out, like, what do you think would be the 50th
National Lampoon's Vacation, maybe? I don't know.
No. Maybe.
I don't know, something that's like good, not good.
Yeah. And so then you lay it on the table upside down and you say, okay, National Lampoon's Vacation. And then somebody else says, okay, well, I have 75. Do I think National Lampoon is a 75 or better? Right. And you got to think of a movie, put it down on the right side. Anyway, it works great with a crowd. It's really funny. We had a lot of laughs with this. It's a great party game.
And I don't mean it just National Lampoon's Vacation. I'm just trying to pick something out of a hat.
If it was top 100 movies of all time, 50 would be pretty good, unless it was on a scale from 1 to 100. So that is the one thing, is that,
and part of the game is that it's very subjective,
right?
And so what you might really like, somebody else might be like, oh.
But you also have to clarify too, like, what does that scale mean? Are these the top 100 games, or is this on a scale from 1 to 100? Right. Where would I put this film?
And after you each play your cards to where you think they belong in this rating, you can then you're allowed to continue to discuss and be like, well, actually, this is like the best Star Wars ever. I think it's actually higher than your Raiders of the Lost Ark, whatever,
Yeah. And it was funny because we had one which was like rarest bird. Well, we had like rarest bird, and we had a bunch of bird watchers in the room, and so it was funny because we had just talked about like ducks, and I think I had like 1 or something, so it was really funny. I was like, duck, and everybody knew that was going to be a really low number.
I kept getting the 100 card, so I'd be like,
yeah.
If it was like one of the questions was like, what would you bring with you if you were marooned on an island? And I was like, the freaking Coast Guard.
Yeah, and somebody else had been like matches or something, and we're like, oh, okay, Coast Guard's better. It's really fun. It's a great party game. So highly recommend that one.
Yeah. So now we have another seasonal game. So that was Ito.
So this,
ITO.
Yeah, this is funny because we bought this game last year, Jokkmokk, the winter market. And we lost it. We never found it. It came in, did something with it, lost it. So we rebought it this year and finally got it to the table.
Yep. Yeah, so we played it. It's a pretty simple family game for the holidays. I actually think it's perfect for that because it plays up to 6 and it's like, it's simple. It's a ratchet track or whatever you want to call that, where it's a one-way track. And you move your piece as far as you want, but the person who's next is the person who's last. So you want to be careful about moving too far so you get more turns.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's simple. It's fun. You have different types of cards and you play with 5 or 6 different types.
Yep. It's a set collection.
And you're trying to collect the cards that give you the most points.
Right.
And that's really it. It's really simple and it's fun. We enjoyed it a lot.
Well, and the game really lies in the fact that each different set of cards has a different way of scoring. So it's not like, oh, we just have to get the most ice skates or something.
Right.
It was one of them, you had to build a pattern, right? Another one was the person with the most got points, but the person with the least didn't. I don't remember them now, but they were like, every single one had a different scoring condition.
Sure.
And there are 20, 25 different sets. There's a number of them.
Like 20. So there's a good number of sets, and yeah, you mix them up for each game, and they have some recommended sets on the back of the rules, so you can go through the recommended sets. What we did is we went through a few recommended sets, and then we identified all the cards we hadn't played yet and just played a game with those. So we played all the cards.
Yeah. And I really liked it. There were a few negative ones that weren't our favorite, but they weren't the end of the world either.
No, I mean,
they were fine.
They have a purpose. It's just like, we just don't like the negative stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And some of them play well with other cards. Like there's one that allows you to get rid of a card. So if you play with the negative and you play with a card that lets you get rid of cards, it balances out okay.
Exactly. So we might have 2 copies of Jokkmokk. If we do, we'll give it away if we ever find it. But
if we ever find it,
we don't know.
Yep, who knows?
All right, next up on our list, and we just got another play of this in, which is good because we'd only played it the once. So now we've played it multiple times.
And we played with the seasonal Christmas
expansion. That is Pictures, a SpielMill winner.
Yes.
So Pictures is basically a little party game where you put a bunch of pictures in the middle of the table, and then you each have a different set of physical items, and you're trying to replicate one of the pictures and get other people to guess which picture is yours.
And it's wild because, let me tell you, one of the sets is 2 shoelaces. And so you get, a nice landscape with a barn or something, and you're trying to represent this with shoelaces.
Yep. It's so hard. Because you may not realize this, but shoelaces do not make a straight line.
No, they don't. Although I've done well with the shoelaces. For some reason, they work well for me. But that's the other thing too. Is like there's different ways of expressing. One is just colored cubes, and you can only use 9 of them. They're little ones, and then you use them to represent what you're seeing. And so there, it's sort of like the abstract color of it.
Yep.
With the Christmas version, there's 2 added sets of materials.
Yeah.
One was a bag of Christmassy items like a little piece of garland and a silver Christmas tree ornament ball, and I can't remember what else was in the bag, but cotton ball, a cinnamon stick.
Right.
Things like that. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
And the other set,
what was the other set again? That was
the
one with the plate, right? Mm-hmm. And then the other one,
it had like little cutouts of Christmas type things.
Oh, yeah.
Gingerbread, star, cup of wine.
Right. And so you're kind of trying to draw these pictures using gingerbread man. It's interesting, and it works. I mean, it actually works, and it's really fun. If you've ever played High Clue, the scoring is similar. For each person that guesses the right picture for you, you get a point. And each person who guesses it correctly gets a point. So if 3 people guess my picture, I get 3 points, and each of them gets 1 point.
Right. It's kind of semi-co-op in that way. Like, there's still a winner, right? You want to do better than everybody else, but you're not trying to, like, destroy anybody.
No, you're all trying to get each other's things, right?
Yeah.
So it's fun and enjoyable, and it's 3-dimensional and very tactile. So it's got those elements going for it. It'd be tough if you had a chaotic group, because you have these pieces that you have to sort of move around, and I'd be worried about losing pieces.
Only plays up to what, 5 or 6? I think it's 5.
I think it's 6 with the expansion. But yeah,
you're right.
So,
it is 6 with the expansion.
Because
you use 5 more set than
because you have more sets. So yeah, but you can get multiple expansions and more sets, I guess. But it'd be weird to play the Christmas one with outside of Christmas.
Yeah, it would. And the other thing that I really like about this is that it is caters to different skill sets that aren't always catered to in board games. And so if you have family members, for example, that are not very good at like a logic game or a war game, or can't remember like cards if you're playing a card game, this might work for them. Like you said, it's very tactile, very kinesthetic, it's very artistic, 3-dimensional,
visual artists for sure,
good for visual artists. So definitely caters to different skill sets than a lot of your typical games. So that makes it really nice for mixed groups too.
All right. And that's it. That's our video.
That's the first round.
We've played more. So we'll cover more of those in subsequent videos. So we'll try to get these out as quickly as we can without being rushed. And we're going to fix the audio thing. So hopefully it was adequate for today's video. And I apologize if it wasn't. But we're doing the best we can. But we didn't want to put off taping because it's been a while.
Yeah.
So we wanted to go ahead and film regardless.
Yes. It's been so long. I'm pretty sure I had short hair the last time we filmed. And different glasses.
I had a different hairstyle, but we're on, we're back. So thank you for putting up with us, and I don't know. Hope you have a great holiday season,
happy holidays,
and New Year, and all that. And I don't know. Remember,
every day that you game
is a holiday. Bye.
Bye.